Hello and welcome to our Year with the Ears, our daily vlog where we relive our year living in the Walt Disney World resorts in 2019. Today is day 258.
We woke up this morning in our grand villa here at Saratoga Springs and got ready for the day and then waited for my family to come join us. My brother and sister are actually heading home today, so they stayed at Pop Century to grab the Magical Express to the airport. But my mom, dad, and youngest brother took an Uber over to Saratoga Springs. They are staying one extra day with us. When they got to the resort, they got settled into their rooms, and my dad and brother headed to Hollywood Studios. But Robert, my mom, and myself went to the spa here at Saratoga Springs. You can get a day pass for $25 that gives you access to everything inside the spa. So we got there and they asked how many days we wanted on the pass. And we're like, oh, how many can we get? Because, we live here. We're kind of here all year. They said, well, you can do up to 5. We're like, okay, let's do 5 for each of us. My mom will be back later in the year, so we thought we'll just do 5, just get all of it. And they said, okay, that'll be $75. 25? 50. How does that work? And they're like, oh, you get a discount the more days you book. It was already cheap at $25, we felt like, but now we're getting it for $15 a day. Yes, definitely. So we paid $75 and headed to the lounges. When my mom and I went down to the women's lounge, we found there was nobody else in there. So this is a really great time for me because I like documenting things. I was able to go around and take pictures of literally everything in here without worrying about taking a picture of someone else. Now they have everything you could possibly need here in the spa. They have hairbrushes, combs, hairspray, shampoo and conditioner. They have straighteners, curling irons, and blow dryers. They have showers in here. It's incredible. You can literally get ready for the entire day while you're in here. They even have lotion, razors. It's awesome. Now, we're not here for all of that. We're here for the other part of the spa. We enjoyed the jacuzzi tub that they have down here, the heated loungers that they have, just like on the Disney cruise that we love so much. There's even a steam room down here. So we spent some time down here enjoying all of these things and it just being the two of us, which was really nice. And then we headed up to the relaxation room. This is where you can take a nap or read a book. You just have to be quiet. You're not supposed to talk in here. You just have to be quiet. But we really didn't come up here for that. We actually came up for the free snacks that are included. My mom loves tea and they had a huge variety of tea here. I grabbed a bunch of snacks and grabbed some of the water. And then we went back down and sat in the heated loungers and just enjoyed visiting and talking and just being fully relaxed down here while enjoying those free snacks.
I was over on the men's side, which is basically the exact same, and I was enjoying the heated lounger because that is one of my favorite things on Disney cruises are the heated lounge chairs, and I was sitting in that one just reading a book. Actually, this is a book that was written by our keynote speaker from the conference a couple weeks ago. I'm just finally getting around to reading it since we gave one to all the attendees. So I stayed there just kind of relaxing in the lounger, reading in the jacuzzi a little bit here and there, and then I headed back to the room after about an hour or so because I do have some work that I have to get done today before we go to the park a little later.
My mom and I stayed in the spa for a few hours just talking, enjoying visiting together. It is their last day here, so we wanted to spend as much time together as we can. While we were sitting there, they do still have some dining credits left, so we were talking about where we could go. I was like, well, let me look and see what's available. Maybe we can use them. So I started looking and I found Crystal Palace, and that just seems so appropriate for us to go to on their last day here. So we booked that for a little bit later today. When we were done here, we headed back to the room, got ready for the day. My dad and brother came and joined us, and we all took a bus over to Magic Kingdom for that late lunch / early dinner at Crystal Palace. This was a lot of fun for us because I don't know that I've been here since I was like 9, which is a very long time ago. And so this was a lot of fun to be here. I didn't remember much about the food. I just remember the characters and how I really didn't want to take pictures with them all those years ago. I did want to take pictures with them today though. So Tigger came around and he gave all of us a hug and we took pictures with him. And we stayed seated because Eeyore was right behind him and he gives the best hugs. I love Eeyore so much. He's so big and fluffy. So we all took pictures with him as well. And we didn't see the other characters, so we're like, okay, we'll go get some food, and I think we'll be okay to come back before they get here.
The buffet here at Crystal Palace is a pretty basic American food buffet. There's not really anything special that stands out. They've got the salad portions and breads and fruits. They have a kids section, and they have a few different meats. We were surprised to find they had 3 different types of wings out, and I really enjoyed the wings. And then the other things they had, just vegetables and sides. The only thing I thought was really good was the corn spoon bread, but I'm already a fan of that anyway, so that's probably why I liked it. Overall, everything was okay, but I was really glad we were on the dining plan, getting this for quote-unquote free, because it really isn't anything spectacular. You're here for the characters. They also had a bunch of desserts over on the bar, but they had changed everything to a Halloween theme, so lots of food coloring that Alyssa can't have. One of the things she could have was actually my favorite dessert they had. It was little brownie muffins that had eyeballs on them for Halloween, and I thought this was just the best thing ever, because it's creepy looking, but they were also really good brownies.
They were creepy looking. I was not a fan of these. They did taste good, I'll say that, but I was not a fan of this eyeball staring at you from your plate. I did not enjoy that. Piglet came around to see us, and we took lots of pictures with him. I love Piglet as well. I guess I like all the Winnie the Pooh characters. Winnie the Pooh did come up last, and of course we have to take pictures with the main man himself. We got pictures with Winnie the Pooh and all of us together, and once we finished our food, we did head out into the park. It's getting a little later, and tonight is a Halloween party, so my family will have to leave. We're gonna stay for a little bit of the party, but there's kind of this overlap where guests who aren't part of the party can be there, but guests who are there for the party can be there and enjoy a lot of the stuff as well. So there's like this little bit of overlap, so they stayed as long as they could. We first went to the firehouse to get the Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom Halloween card that we can get because we are here for the Halloween party. And then we went further into the park, and my family used those snack credits they have to get some of those special Halloween treats.
The first stop was Starbucks for the jumbo Hocus Pocus cupcake that they have. I didn't realize how big this thing is, and there's of course a lot of food coloring and all these things, so Alyssa won't be able to eat them. But the cupcake was pretty good. It wasn't anything crazy special. It's a typical Disney cupcake, but it was solid. And there were a couple snacks that were exclusive to the Halloween party, and we wanted to get those. So we went over to Tomorrowland and got the Hades drink that they had, which is basically a blue lemonade that comes with cotton candy on top. It was really, really, really sweet, like pure sugar. And so I tried it and then gave the rest to my brother-in-law because he would drink it and I did not want it. It was way too much sugar. And the last thing we got was Constance's wedding cake, the Haunted Mansion themed dessert that they have. This was not at all what we expected. We thought it was going to be a cake, and it was kind of a cake in the middle, but then lots of mousse on top. So it was a really strange texture. The flavors were all great, but the textures were really weird.
I didn't try this at all, but the rest of my family did, and as they were taking it off the plate, it reminded me of like those jellos you used to have at Christmas time that someone in the family would inevitably make, and you didn't actually know what was inside, but you felt you had to eat it because someone in the family made it. That's basically what this was. We decided to try to head over to Animal Kingdom because as I was talking to my family, I said, okay, is there anything else you want to do? Because this is it. And they said, well, we'd love to ride Flight of Passage one more time, but I know we can't. I'm like, let me see what time they close over there at Animal Kingdom. They closed at 9, and it was about 7:30 at this point. I'm like, if we hurry, if the bus doesn't take too long, we might be able to make it. That's not a guarantee, but we'll see. So on the way out, we stopped for some allergy-friendly candy because I can't leave the park without it. We did get a bus pretty quickly over to Animal Kingdom, and we power walked ourselves over to Pandora as quickly as we could, but we made it in enough time. We're like, okay, we still have time before the park closes. We stopped to get a night blossom because we've actually never gotten one at night, which is funny. We always get it during the day, take pretty pictures, but this actually looks way cooler at night than it does during the day. So I definitely recommend if you want a cool picture of this, get it at night when it's dark. We then walked over and waited in line for Flight of Passage. We only had to wait about 25 minutes, which actually isn't that long comparatively to how long that line gets many other times of the day. We rode Flight of Passage for the final time for my family, and at this point everything's pretty much closed. So we headed to the buses and took a bus back to Saratoga Springs. We stayed in the room waiting for a couple of our friends who are flying in. They're very good friends of ours. They'll be staying with us for their entire trip. We invited them to stay with us because we have these huge rooms. My family's leaving, Robert's family's already left, and so we're like, hey, you can stay with us. There's plenty of space for everyone. When they arrived, we started talking about everything they're going to be doing, and they told us that they're going to build lightsabers. They're really excited about it, so we're giving them some tips. Now, my mom is a very social person, but my dad is not. He's very quiet, very shy. He was in the room just reading a book in the corner, and I noticed that he stopped reading his book, which is odd, but okay, maybe he got to a stopping point. And then I noticed he was standing a little closer to us while we're talking. Okay. And then I noticed eventually my dad was standing right here. And for someone who's very shy and not outgoing, that's very, very odd. So I'm racking my brain trying to figure out what would possess my dad to come out of his shell and talk to people he's never met And I'm thinking and thinking while we're all talking, and all of a sudden it hit me. And I turned and said, Dad, would you like to show them your lightsaber? And his face lit up. He goes, can I? Absolutely. Go get your lightsaber. And so he went upstairs and came back and showed them his lightsaber, told them all about all the reasons he chose each piece. It was so sweet, and I was just so surprised because I don't know that I've ever seen my dad really come out of his shell like that. He's just a very quiet person, and he was so excited about this lightsaber even a couple days later, which is so awesome. And even to this day, yes, he still loves his lightsaber. Once we were done talking, our friends went to get settled in their room, and my mom came up and she goes, we have 2 table service credits left that are going to expire. I'm like, how did we figure that out wrong? Literally all of us looked at the app and checked everything. We thought we used them all. I don't know how we did that. I was like, well, I don't know that we can use them at this point. I mean, it's 10 o'clock at night. You're about to leave tomorrow. And so I was like, well, we're at Saratoga Springs. Disney Springs is right across the water. It's open pretty late. Maybe we can find a reservation or we can go use them there. So I looked in the app, and sure enough, I found a reservation for 10:55 at Wolfgang Puck. I had never eaten there before. No one in my family has. I was like, well, we only have 2, so only a couple people can go. But if you all are okay with that, we can do a really late night dinner. So my mom, brother, and I went. We figured between the 3 of us, we're not super hungry. We'll just share a couple meals. We took a bus over to Disney Springs and walked up to Wolfgang Puck, and it was 10:57. We were about 2 minutes late. And I said, hi, we have a reservation. She goes, I'm really sorry, but we're closed. And I was like, what time do you close? And she said 11 o'clock. I'm like, but I had a reservation. She goes, are you late for it? I was like, I mean, yes, but it's 2 minutes. I figured it would be okay. And she goes, what time was your reservation? We don't take reservations for the last 30 minutes we're open. I was like, well, I found one in the app I used and made one earlier for 10:55. She goes, I didn't know we did that. Can I see it? So I showed her the reservation. She goes, I'm gonna go get a manager. So the manager came out. I showed him the reservation. He goes, that is not supposed to happen. I was like, oh, okay, can we not come in? He goes, can you order quickly? I'm like, that we can do, yes. So we literally walked in, sat down, and looked at the menu and ordered as quickly as we could. We ordered cheese tortellini, which was really good, but less food than you normally get at a Disney table service restaurant. Not complaining because we weren't super hungry, but we were just surprised. We also ordered the steak, which again was also smaller than you normally get for a Disney restaurant. But none of us were super hungry, and so we're like, okay, this is a nice shareable meal. We ordered our dessert with our meal, so it was brought out very quickly. We got the pineapple upside down cake, which I only had like 1 bite of because that's not something I normally eat, but my mom and brother really enjoyed it. The other thing we got was recommended by the server, and we had no idea what we were in for. We were told it was a shake with cake, but we thought there was like pieces of cake in the shake. We didn't realize it was an entire shake with a cake on top. And this was hilarious because 1, none of us are super hungry. 2, the meals were not that big, but the dessert was ginormous. I'm like, is this how it works? You don't fill up on the food, you fill up on the dessert. And our eyes were huge when this was brought out. We're like, okay, definitely gonna finish the pineapple upside down cake, and we will do our best on that one. We didn't get very far. We literally asked for it to go tray and just said, please put this in a cup and in a box. We'll just take it back to the resort.
And I wasn't upset because that meant I got a cake and milkshake, even though it's very late by the time they got back from the bus. I was asking about Wolfgang Puck and how it was because I've always wondered about the restaurant. We always loved Wolfgang Puck Express, so I figured the sit-down meal would be even better. And then I saw the pictures and she was telling me about the food, and I was like, good thing it was on the dining plan and it was essentially free. You just had to pay for the tip because I don't think we really want to go back there. Everyone was in the room kind of getting settled for the night. We were making sure everybody had all their suitcases packed up and stuff because they do have an early morning Magical Express reservation to get to the airport as we check out of this room. And then we went to bed, and that was the end of our day today. So we'll see you tomorrow
For our Year with the Ears.